On a freezing weekday morning in downtown Chicago, a homeless mother picked up a millionaire's fallen wallet and envelope, together holding $50,000. No one else saw it land, no cameras, no witnesses, no one to stop her if she just slipped it into her coat and disappeared. Instead, she ran after him, and when he tried to shove a few bills into her hand like she was an inconvenience, she refused, and asked for something that would change both of their lives in ways neither of them could have imagined. If you like emotional, real feeling stories about dignity, second chances, and people who refuse to sell their soul, subscribe to Extraordinary Stories, hit the like button, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next story that might stay in your head for days. Now let's go to that icy Chicago morning where a woman named Grace Turner was about to prove that being broke is not the same as being poor. The wind knifed down the glass canyons of downtown, funneling between high-rises and over the heads of commuters pressed into scarves and coats. It smelled like exhaust, old coffee, and something metallic, like snow that hadn't fallen yet. Grace sat on a low concrete ledge near the State Lake L station, wrapped in a men's winter coat that was 2 sizes too big and at least 10 years too old. The hem was frayed. One cuff was ripped where the lining poked through. Inside that coat, snuggled against her chest, was her entire world, 8-month-old Noah. He fussed softly, tiny fists pushing against her as he rooted for a bottle that was already empty. "I know, baby," Grace whispered, rocking him gently. "I know. Mommy's working on it." Next to her, propped against the concrete, a piece of cardboard in neat but shaky writing said, "Former nurse looking for work. Anything helps. Please." Most people didn't read it. They saw a woman on the ground and looked away. Some sped up, as if poverty could reach out and grab them by the ankles. Grace had stopped holding her hand out a long time ago. The looks people gave her when she did hurt more than an empty cup. She just sat there now, shoulders hunched, eyes scanning faces the way a drowning person scans the shoreline. Her fingers, buried in Noah's blanket, felt the sharp outline of the tiny silver cross her mother had pressed into her palm years ago. Back when Grace still had a small apartment, a job at St. Mary's Hospital, and a husband who whispered into her hair that everything would be okay. That was before the accident, before the funeral, before the missed shifts and slow mistakes, and the quiet, uncomfortable meeting where her supervisor had said, "We're so sorry, Grace, but—" Her life now fit into one duffel bag and a battered stroller. A cold gust slapped her in the face. She blinked, eyes watering. Across the street, the door of a high-end coffee shop swung open. A man stepped out, still talking into the phone pressed to his ear. Tall, expensive charcoal overcoat, scarf knotted just so, black leather gloves. His hair was neat, his shoes polished, his jaw set in the kind of line people call decisive in business magazines. Daniel Reed. Most people only knew him as the founder and CEO of Reed Dynamics, one of the fastest-growing logistics tech companies in the country. A man interviewed on financial shows, photographed at charity galas, quoted in articles about self-made millionaires. Grace didn't know his name. She just registered him as another fast-moving person in an expensive coat, city royalty gliding through his kingdom. He strode toward the curb where a black town car waited, driver holding the door. A leather document wallet was tucked under his arm, a fat manila envelope sticking out of it. His phone was wedged between shoulder and ear. His free hand cradled his coffee cup. "Just lock in the number," he was saying. "We can't look weak on this." The door closed behind him. A woman in a pencil skirt brushed past. Grace watched him cross the sidewalk. As he stepped off the curb, the manila envelope snagged on the edge of his coat. The leather wallet slipped, bumped against his side, and tumbled down. The envelope followed, landing with a soft slap on the concrete. Daniel didn't feel a thing. He kept walking, still talking, climbing into the town car like the world would always cushion him. Grace stared. The wind fluttered the corner of the envelope. The wallet lay inches from the gutter. People flowed around it. Shoes, bags, briefcases. No one looked down. She glanced at Noah, who whined softly. then at the fallen wallet. Her stomach clenched. Slowly, she stood. Her legs felt numb from hours in the cold. With Noah in one arm, she bent and picked up the wallet and envelope. They were heavy. Too heavy to be empty. Her heart began to pound. She flipped the wallet open just enough to see the inside. Stacks of crisp bills. Hundreds. 50s. More hundreds. She counted quickly in her head. $5,000. Maybe more. Her hand shook. She looked at the envelope. Across the front, in neat handwriting. Bank deposit. $45,000. Her vision swam for a second. $50,000. Her breathing went shallow. With that money, she could put Noah in clean clothes that actually fit. She could buy formula, diapers, real food. She could rent a tiny studio, pay a deposit, get them out of the shelter, and into a place with a lock on the door that was actually hers. Nobody had seen her pick it up. Nobody knew it had fallen. She could put the wallet and envelope in her bag, turn down the alley, and never look back. The wind gusted again, cutting through the thin layers under her coat, finding the edges of the fear she'd been carrying for months. Noah squirmed and let out a low cry. "Shh," she murmured automatically. "It's okay, little man." Her mother's voice rose up from somewhere deep inside, from a small kitchen in Indiana, and a life that was gone. "We may not have much," her mother used to say, "but we have our name. Money comes and goes. Your soul doesn't." Grace shut her eyes. When she opened them, she shoved the wallet and envelope under her arm, pressed Noah tighter against her, and started to run. "Sir," she called. "Hey, sir, you dropped something." Her voice disappeared under the street noise. The town car's engine rumbled. The driver was closing the door. "Hey!" Grace shouted, lungs burning. "Wait!" She dodged around a man with a briefcase, stepped off the curb, boots skidding a little on slush. The driver saw her at the last second and paused with the door half closed. Daniel looked up from his phone, irritated. Grace reached them, breathless. "You dropped this," she gasped, shoving the wallet and envelope toward him. "Back there, on the sidewalk." Daniel's hand flew to his inner coat pocket. Empty. For the first time in a very long time, genuine fear flashed across his face. He grabbed the wallet and envelope, eyes dropping immediately to the contents. He flipped the wallet open, counting the bills with quick, precise fingers. Then he peeled the envelope back just enough to glimpse the deposit slip and the stacks of cash inside. All there. He blew out a breath he didn't realize he'd been holding. "You just saved me a lot of trouble," he snapped, more to himself than to her. He slid everything back into his coat, patting the pocket once. Grace shifted Noah in her arms. Her heart still pounded, but now for a different reason. She waited. Waited for a simple word. 2 syllables. "Thank you." Instead, Daniel pulled out his personal wallet and thumbed through the cards and bills. He took out a 20 and held it out without really looking at her. "Here," he said. "Get the baby something to eat." Grace stared at the bill, then at his face. She saw nothing there but impatience and the faint boredom of a man used to making problems go away by throwing money at them. Very slowly, she shook her head. "I don't want your money," she said quietly. "I just did what was right." His eyes snapped to hers, surprised. "Nobody turns down money," he said, incredulous. "Especially not—" His gaze flicked over her coat, the stroller behind her, the cardboard sign. "Especially not someone in your situation," he finished, the last word edged with judgment. "I'm not begging," Grace replied, voice trembling but firm. "I'm looking for work. I used to be a nurse." He actually laughed. It was short and sharp and cold. "A nurse," he repeated. "Sure you were." Grace felt her face flush. "I have a license," she said. "Had. It expired while—" Everything fell apart. "I'm at St. Anne's shelter now. I'm trying to get back on my feet. I just need—" "Here's what you need," he cut in, still holding out the bill. "To stop expecting handouts. Life doesn't work like that. If you want a job, get cleaned up, find an address, get some references. No one's going to hire a homeless woman off the sidewalk." The words hit harder than the wind. People were slowing now, sensing tension. A couple of students stopped a little way off, one of them lifting his phone almost casually. Grace swallowed around the lump in her throat. "I didn't ask you for a handout," she said quietly. "I gave you back $50,000. You don't owe me anything, but you also don't get to talk to me like I'm trash." Daniel's jaw tightened. "If you really were a nurse," he said, "maybe you should have thought about your future before you ended up here." He shoved the 20 back into his wallet. "You should be grateful," he added. "Most people wouldn't even slow down. I'm already late." He slid into the town car and pulled the door shut. For the briefest moment, their eyes met through the glass. Grace's were bright with unshed tears. He looked away first. The car pulled into traffic and disappeared. Grace stood on the curb, Noah fussing in her arms, the city suddenly too loud, too bright, too much. A woman in a puffy coat came up and touched her arm gently. "I saw what you did," she said softly. "That was incredible." Grace shook her head, blinking hard. "I just gave back what wasn't mine," she whispered. A young guy with a beanie and a backpack approached timidly. He said, holding up his phone. "I was filming. Is it okay if I post this? The way he talked to you? People should see it." Grace felt hollow. "Do whatever you want," she murmured. "It won't change anything." She turned away, shoulders hunched, and walked back toward the shelter. Noah tucked under her chin. She had no idea that the video was already on its way to millions of screens, and that her refusal to steal, and to be bought, was about to shake Daniel Reed's perfect world. That night, Grace lay on a thin mattress in a corner of St. Anne's shelter, listening to the soft chaos of 50 people trying to sleep in one room. Snoring, coughing, a whispered argument, a baby somewhere crying in short, ragged bursts. Noah lay beside her, finally knocked out after a bottle donated by an older woman with kind eyes. His tiny chest rose and fell under the blanket. Grace stared at the water-stained ceiling. Her mind replayed the scene on the sidewalk, over and over. The weight of the wallet in her hands, the offer of $20, the look on his face when she refused. "Maybe I am crazy," she whispered into the dark. 2 years earlier, she'd worn clean scrubs and comfortable sneakers, her hair tied back as she hurried down hospital corridors at St. Mary's, answering call lights and checking IVs. Then Noah was born. Perfect, dark-haired, loud. 3 months later, her husband was killed by a drunk driver at an intersection they'd crossed 100 times. Grief wrapped itself around her like wet concrete. She went to work, but her mind fogged. She forgot things, small at first, then bigger. A medication almost given twice. A chart misfiled. A missed shift when she couldn't get out of bed. Her supervisor had taken her into a quiet office and closed the door. "You're a good nurse, Grace," she'd said. "But right now you're not safe. For you or for the patients. Take some time. Get help." Time cost money. Therapy cost money. Everything cost money. No paycheck meant no rent. Within months, the landlord had changed the locks. Grace and Noah ended up at St. Anne's. Days became a blur of job applications and rejections. "We're looking for someone with recent experience. We can't hire someone without a permanent address. Call us when your situation is more stable." Stable. As if that was something you could order online. The next morning, after a breakfast of instant oatmeal and burnt toast, one of the volunteers waved her over. "Grace, someone's asking for you," she said, holding out the shelter's landline. Grace frowned and took the receiver. "Hello? Ms. Turner?" a male voice asked. "This is Ryan Blake from Channel 7 News. I'm calling about the video." "What video?" she asked, confused. "The one from yesterday," he said. "You returning a wallet to Daniel Reed? The way he reacted? It's gone viral." Grace's stomach dropped. "Viral?" she repeated. "Yes, ma'am. Millions of views. People are talking about your honesty, about his behavior. We'd love to interview you. Tell your side of the story. Would you be willing to meet me near the station around noon?" Grace clutched the phone tighter. I don't know," she said. "I don't want to cause trouble." "You're not causing trouble," Ryan said gently. "You did something extraordinary. People want to know who you are. It could help you. She looked at Noah in the high chair, smearing oatmeal across his cheeks. Okay, she said slowly. I'll talk. At noon, the wind was just as bitter. Ryan was waiting near the state lake station with a camera operator and a boom mic. He was kind-faced, mid-30s, with a worn winter jacket and eyes that actually met hers. Grace? He asked. Thank you for coming. He offered her a coffee. She wrapped her hands around it like it was a miracle. They stood off to the side, Noah bundled in the stroller between them. All right, Ryan said softly, as the camera light blinked on. Just talk to me. Don't worry about the camera, okay? Grace nodded. Grace, he began. Yesterday you picked up a wallet that didn't belong to you. Inside was a lot of money. Why did you decide to return it? She took a breath. Because it wasn't mine, she said. I'm not going to lie and say I didn't think about it. When you're cold and hungry with a baby and you're holding that much cash, your mind goes to dark places. But my mom didn't raise me that way. She always said, we might not have much, but we still have our name. I'm broke, but I'm not a thief. And how did you feel about the way Mr. Reed spoke to you afterward? Ryan asked carefully. Grace looked down at Noah. I've heard worse, she said after a moment. When you're on the street, people say things, or they pretend you're invisible. But it still hurt. Not because he didn't give me money. I didn't want his money. It hurt because he talked to me like I was less than a person, like my situation meant I didn't matter. He had no idea who I was before this, what I'd done, what I'd lost. She glanced at the camera now, eyes shining. I was a nurse, she said. I took care of people. I held hands in the middle of the night when families couldn't be there. I messed up my own life trying to survive grief. I'm not asking anyone to fix it for me. I just want a chance to work again, to give my son a home, dignity. That's all. Ryan swallowed. And if you could say one thing to Daniel Reed right now, he asked, what would it be? Grace thought for a long moment. Then she looked straight down the lens. I'd tell him that everyone he steps over on his way into those nice buildings had a life before the sidewalk, she said. I'd tell him that money doesn't make you better than anyone. It just means you can help more, or hurt more. And I'd tell him, I don't want your guilt or your charity. I want opportunity. I want to stand on my own 2 feet again. The camera light went off. Thank you, Ryan said softly. Whatever happens next, that took guts. That night, the interview aired on the local news. Within hours, it was all over the internet. Clips of Grace's words, I'm broke, but I'm not a thief, were shared thousands of times. Her cardboard sign, her tired eyes, her steady voice. Comments flooded in. This woman has more integrity than half the boardrooms downtown. She deserves a job, not pity. How do we help her? I can't believe how he talked to her. Gross. And of course, she's stupid. I would have kept the money. Bet she's doing this for attention. Homeless people always want something. Daniel's phone buzzed so much he had to turn it face down on his marble countertop in his penthouse overlooking the river. Have you seen this? His head of PR, Melissa, demanded over speakerphone. Because everyone else has. It's overblown, Daniel said tightly. The internet forgets in a week. Not this time, Melissa replied. We lost 2 clients today. One publicly stated they don't want to be associated with you. Our stock dipped 4% this morning. There are calls for boycotts. Ride Respect is trending for all the wrong reasons. Daniel rubbed his temples. It's ridiculous, he muttered. We're delivering logistics solutions, not winning popularity contests. You built your brand on being the approachable, visionary entrepreneur, Melissa said. Right now you look like every stereotype of a heartless rich guy. You need to fix this. Fast. He hung up and checked his messages. One from his teenage daughter. Dad, I saw the video. Why were you like that to her? One from his ex-wife. This is exactly why I left. I hope you finally see it. He put the phone down, jaw clenched. The following morning, the board meeting was brutal. This isn't about one video, said Mr. Harris, the chairman. It's about the culture at the top. We've had comments before, Daniel. Employees scared to approach you. Partners describing you as dismissive. This just confirmed what many suspected. So what? he snapped. I'm supposed to grovel to every person on the street now, just because they might have a camera? You're supposed to show basic humanity, Harris shot back. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to make this right, publicly. You're going to meet this woman, offer a sincere apology, and meaningful help. Not a 20, not a photo op. Real help. Or the board will have to reconsider your position. Daniel stared at him. Reconsider your position, Harris repeated. Don't mistake yourself for irreplaceable. 2 days later, St. Anne's shelter director found Grace in the common room, playing peekaboo with Noah using a fraying towel. Grace, she said carefully. Mr. Reed's assistant is on the phone. He wants to set up a meeting. Says he has a proposal for you. Grace's stomach tightened. A proposal? She asked. The director nodded. They'll send a car. You don't have to say yes, she added. It's your choice. Grace looked at Noah's wide, dark eyes. Maybe this is my chance, she whispered. At 3 o'clock sharp, a sleek black sedan pulled up outside the shelter. Grace climbed in with Noah on her lap, feeling the weight of every eye in the common room on her back. The car glided through downtown, past the places she watched from the sidewalk every day. They stopped in front of a glass tower with the name Reed Dynamics gleaming above the revolving doors. Security guards, marble floors, a polished reception desk. Jane, the assistant, led her into a conference room on the 35th floor. Bright lights, a long table, bottled water lined up like soldiers, and cameras. At least 3 crews, reporters, boom mics, photographers. Grace's heartbeat accelerated. What is this? She whispered to Jane. Just a quick press statement, Jane said. Mr. Reed wants to apologize and make things right. This will help clean up. She cut herself off. It'll be good. Don't worry. Daniel entered in a tailored navy suit, hair perfect, expression carefully serious. Grace, he said loudly enough for the microphones. Thank you for coming. He faced the cameras. In the last few days, he began, I've had the chance to reflect on my behavior. I realized that I spoke to Ms. Turner in a way that was disrespectful and hurtful. She showed great honesty and integrity when she returned my wallet, and I failed to show gratitude. He held up a glossy envelope. So today, I'm here to say I'm sorry, he continued, and to offer Ms. Turner a full-time job here at Reed Dynamics as part of our facilities team, with a regular salary and benefits. In addition, as a token of my appreciation, I'm giving her a check for $5,000. Polite applause. Cameras zoomed in. Reporters leaned forward, waiting to capture her reaction. Grace stood there, Noah on her hip, envelope in front of her. Everyone expected tears. A grateful hug. Maybe a rehearsed line about second chances. That didn't happen. Grace did not move to take the envelope. She looked at Daniel instead. Really looked at him. Can I say something? She asked. There was a murmur. The cameras swung to her. Daniel forced a smile. Of course, he said. Go ahead. Grace shifted Noah, squared her shoulders, and turned slightly so the cameras could see her face. 4 days ago, she began, voice clear but not loud, this man dropped a wallet with $50,000 in it. I picked it up and gave it back. No one forced me. There were no cameras. I did it because it was the right thing to do. She glanced at the envelope in his hand. That day, she went on, he told me I smelled like the street. He told me no one would hire me. He told me to fix my life by myself before expecting anything from anyone. I walked away, feeling smaller than I already did. The room was dead silent. And now, she said, on camera, with the whole city watching, he offers me a job and a check. She looked back at Daniel. I'm going to be honest with you, Mr. Reed, she said. This doesn't feel like an apology. It feels like damage control. He blinked. I'm trying to help you, he said through his teeth. I don't want help that comes with strings and TV crews, Grace replied. I returned your money when no one was looking, not for a reward, not for publicity. I didn't ask for this attention, but now that I have it, I'm not going to trade my dignity for a paycheck you only offer to clean up your reputation. So you're refusing? Someone blurted from the press row. Yes, Grace said. A wave of whispering broke out. Daniel's jaw tensed. "Then what do you want?" he demanded. "What will satisfy you?" "I don't want to be satisfied," she replied. "I want a chance. A real one." She took a breath. "I used to be a nurse," she said. "My license expired while my life was falling apart. I want you to fund a refresher program so I can get certified again. I want 3 months' help with rent so I can give my son a safe home while I rebuild. After that, I'll stand on my own. I don't want to clean your office floors for the rest of my life. I want my profession back." The room erupted with questions, camera shutters, low exclamations. "You're turning down $5,000 and a job at a major company?" a reporter called out. "Yes," Grace said simply, "because I'm not for sale." She shifted Noah onto her other hip. "A lot of people talk about helping the homeless," she added, looking briefly into one of the lenses. "Then they hand out cash or pose for photos and go home. Real help is opportunity, training, childcare, housing, respect. That's all I want. Not charity, respect." She looked at Daniel one last time. "You said no one would hire someone like me," she said. "I'm telling you now, you were wrong. Someone will. And when they do, it won't be because they're afraid of bad press." Then she turned and walked out of the room. Noah clung to her shoulders. The cameras chased after her. Reporters shouted her name. Daniel stood frozen at the front of the room, envelope still in his hand. He'd planned to look like a savior. Instead, he looked like a man who'd just been handed a mirror on live television. The clip of Grace refusing the check spread even faster than the first video. She turned down $5,000 and a job for her dignity. This is what integrity looks like. Give this woman a nursing job already. Reed still doesn't get it. There were critics too, of course. She's stupid. That money could have fed her kid. Pride won't pay her rent. This is all for attention. Grace didn't see most of it. Her world was still St. Anne's, job applications, shelter meals, and trying not to break down in front of Noah. But 3 days later, Sister Agnes handed her the shelter phone again. "Grace, someone wants to talk to you," she said. "Sounds important." Grace pressed the receiver to her ear. "Hello, Ms. Turner?" a warm, steady woman's voice asked. "My name is Dr. Evelyn Grant. I'm the director of Riverside Health Center on the South Side. I saw your interviews. I saw what you did. And I've spoken to some people who worked with you at St. Mary's." Grace's heart fluttered. "You have?" she asked. "Yes," Dr. Grant said. "They told me you were one of the best nurses on the floor. Compassionate, quick, sharp. They also told me your life fell apart after your husband died. I understand grief. I lost my husband when I was your age." Grace swallowed hard. "I'm not calling to judge you," Dr. Grant went on. "I'm calling to offer exactly what you asked for. A real chance." Grace's fingers tightened on the phone. "What do you mean?" she whispered. "At Riverside, we have a grant-funded program for retraining nurses who've been out of practice," Dr. Grant said. "If you're willing to work, we will pay for a 3-month refresher course to reactivate your license. During those 3 months, we'll also provide a modest stipend, $1,500 a month, to cover rent and food. We partner with a housing nonprofit. They can place you in a small apartment close to the clinic. When you complete the program and pass your boards, you'll have a full-time nursing position here. Salary, benefits, childcare, on site for Noah." Grace's vision blurred. "You'd do that?" she choked out. "For me? I'm not doing you a favor," Dr. Grant said gently. "I'm making a smart investment in a good nurse and a good person. One day, when you're standing on your own again, you'll find someone who needs a hand up, and you'll remember this moment. That's how change really spreads." Grace's knees buckled. She sank into one of the plastic chairs in the common room. "I don't know how to thank you," she whispered, tears spilling freely now. "Come to the clinic tomorrow at 10, Dr. Grant replied. "Bring Noah. We'll handle the paperwork. The best way to thank me is to show up and do the work. Deal?" Grace laughed through a sob. "Deal," she said. The next weeks were a blur in a different way. A furnished studio apartment, small but quiet and clean, with actual locks on the doors that she controlled. A bed for herself, a crib for Noah, cabinets with actual food in them, orientation at Riverside, meeting other nurses, holding a pen in her hand again in a context that didn't involve filling out shelter forms, refresher classes, medication updates, new protocols, revised charting systems. "You're rusty," one instructor said kindly after a dosage exercise. But the instincts are still there. Grace spent evenings studying after Noah fell asleep, her old textbook spread out on the tiny kitchen table. She failed some practice tests. She cried once in the staff bathroom when a code blue triggered a flashback to losing her husband. Dr. Grant found her there, leaning against the sink. "Grief doesn't disappear," the doctor said softly. "It just finds new places to live. Take a breath, splash some water on your face, then come back. You belong here." 3 months later, Grace sat for the licensing exam. Her hands shook, her heart pounded. When the email came with the word "passed" in bold letters, she slid down the wall of her apartment and sobbed into her hands, while Noah patted her head, confused, but giggling. At Riverside, they handed her a badge. Grace Turner, RN Riverside Health Center. She clipped it to her scrub top with reverence. Her first official day on the floor was a Tuesday. She took vitals, hung IV bags, reassured anxious relatives. She made a joke that got a teenager to smile for the first time since his asthma attack. She helped an elderly woman walk to the bathroom and back, listening to stories about a Chicago that no longer existed. She was exhausted by the end of the shift. Exhausted and deeply, profoundly alive. One afternoon, about a month into her new job, the charge nurse poked her head into the break room. "Grace, can you take the new admit in 214? She asked. "Stress-related collapse. Vitals are stable, but he's pretty shaken. Just came up from the ER." "On it," Grace said, tossing her empty coffee cup. She grabbed a fresh set of gloves, straightened her badge, and walked down the hall. Room 214's door was half open. She pushed it carefully and stepped inside. The man in the bed was alone, propped against white pillows, monitors beeping softly beside him. His hair was messier than she remembered. His jaw was covered in stubble. He wore a faded t-shirt instead of a designer shirt, but the line of his shoulders, the set of his mouth. Grace froze. He looked up. For a moment, neither of them spoke. "Ms. Turner," Daniel said finally, voice hoarse. "Mr. Reed," she answered, equally quiet. They stared at each other across the space between bed and door. He looked smaller somehow, less like a magazine cover, more like a man who'd finally run into something he couldn't out-earn. "I had a panic attack in a board meeting," he said, a humorless smile tugging at his mouth. "Collapsed right there in front of everyone. They thought it was a heart attack at first." "Your chart says acute stress reaction," Grace replied, slipping into nurse mode because it was safer than any other mode. "Your heart looks okay. Your nervous system, not so much." He huffed a small laugh. "That sounds about right," he said. She walked to the bedside, checked his IV, glanced at the monitor. His pulse was elevated, but nothing alarming. "I'll be your nurse until shift change," she said. "I'm going to check your vitals and ask a few questions. Then we'll let you rest." He watched her wrap the blood pressure cuff around his arm. "You really did it," he said softly. "You're a nurse again." "Yes," she said, eyes on the numbers. "I am. Thanks to Dr. Grant," he added. "And thanks to me," she corrected gently. "I did the work." She opened the door. I walked through. He nodded slowly. "I deserved that," he said. She noted his blood pressure, wrote it on the chart. "Why Riverside?" he asked. "You could have gone back to St. Mary's." "They're full," she said. "And Riverside feels right. We treat people who fall through the cracks. I know a bit about that." He swallowed. "Grace," he said. I know it doesn't count for much now, but I'm sorry. For the way I talked to you, for the way I thought about you, for acting like your life was a bad decision instead of a storm you barely survived." She paused, looking up from the chart. His eyes were red-rimmed. No cameras, no assistants, no polished speeches. Just a man in a hospital gown, IV in his arm, heart monitor beeping in the background. For a long time, he went on, I thought money meant I was a better kind of human. The videos, the fallout, losing clients, losing my position, my daughter not speaking to me. His voice cracked. It was the first time I couldn't hide from who I'd become. Grace leaned against the rail at the foot of the bed, listening. I stepped down as CEO, Daniel said. The board wanted it, and they were right. I'm still on the board, but I'm not the face anymore. I'm trying to do something that actually matters with what I have left. We started a program, training and jobs for people coming out of shelters and rehab. Not PR, real jobs, real support. It's a start. That's good, Grace said quietly. They need it. He looked at her, voice barely above a whisper. How can you stand there and be kind to me? He asked. After everything? Grace thought about the sidewalk, about the conference room, about St. Anne's, about Dr. Grant's voice in that phone call. Because I'm a nurse, she said. My job is to care for whoever is in the bed, no matter what they've done. And because I know what it's like to desperately need forgiveness. Someone gave me a chance when I didn't think I deserved one. It would feel wrong not to pass that on. She offered a small smile. And maybe, she added, because holding on to bitterness would take energy I'd rather use on my son and my patients. He let out a shaky breath that was half laugh, half sob. I don't deserve your grace, he said. Few of us ever deserve the grace we get, she replied, adjusting his pillow. That's kind of the point. He blinked rapidly, looking away toward the window. Thank you, he murmured, for taking care of me, for not throwing my words back in my face. I already did that once, she said lightly. The internet has the receipts. He actually smiled at that. She checked his IV one more time. Try to rest, she said. The doctor will be in soon. As she turned to go, he spoke again. Grace? Yes. I'm glad you didn't take the money, he said. I'm glad you asked for what you really needed. You changed me. I wanted you to know that. She nodded once. I'm glad, she said. Then none of this was wasted. She stepped out into the hallway, the door whispering shut behind her. The sounds of the hospital filled her ears. Monitors, distant laughter from the nurses' station. A lullaby playing faintly from the maternity ward speaker as another baby was born. 6 months later, on a warm spring evening, Grace pushed Noah in his stroller through a small park by the river. He was 2 now, chubby legs kicking, a stuffed dinosaur clutched in one hand. They walked past a man sitting on a bench, head bowed, a cardboard sign at his feet. Veteran. Looking for work. Anything helps. Grace's steps slowed. She dug into her bag, pulled out a folded paper. Hey, she said gently. I work at Riverside Health. They have a program for people looking for a fresh start. Training, real jobs. If you want, I can walk you there tomorrow, or just call this number. He looked up, surprised. Why would you do that? He asked. Because someone did it for me, she said simply. That night, after she'd put Noah to bed in their small but warm apartment and washed the last dish in the sink, she sat at the table with a cup of tea. On the fridge was a drawing, a stick-figure woman with long hair, a small stick child holding her hand, both of them under a wobbly yellow sun. Next to it, in childish letters from a therapy homework sheet, someone had written, My mom is a nurse. She helps people. Grace smiled, touching the paper lightly. She thought back to that icy morning downtown, to the wallet on the ground, to the decision no one saw, to the humiliation that went viral, to the phone call from a woman who believed in her, to the hospital room where the man who'd insulted her lay shaking, finally human. All of it had led here. Not to riches, not to a fairy tale mansion, to something better. A roof, a bed, work that mattered, a little boy asleep in the next room, a name she could be proud of again, all because, when no one was looking, she'd chosen honesty over survival. And when everyone was looking, she'd chosen dignity over easy money. Take a second and think about it. If you were holding $50,000 that wasn't yours, with an empty fridge and a hungry child, what would you have done? Would you have kept it and disappeared, or chase down the man who didn't even see you? And if you were in Daniel's position, would you have the courage to admit you were wrong and truly change? Tell me in the comments, have you ever done the right thing when nobody was watching? And if Grace's journey touched you, subscribe to Extraordinary Stories. Hit the like button. Share this video with someone who needs a reminder that dignity is worth more than money. And turn on the notification bell so you never miss the next story.